see you there. Welcome to South Street Gallery. Welcome to our opening reception of Paint World's End exhibit that's just opening right now. Excuse me.
And so what's the red dot all about?
Well, the red dot means sold. A customer tonight walked around and she found this her favorite piece and she just told me she'd like to buy it. So that means it's not available anymore.
I haven't even made it through this round yet, but I'm going to make my way around. I don't know.
Hello, how you doing?
A lot of great work here, huh?
This painting here in the middle is by Anne Musto from Cohasset, and she went out to World's End on Wednesday. It was a cloudy, windy day, and I like that she captured happy colors of that day, not only the cloudy gray, blue colors, because you see orange and yellow and pink, and she captured the mood of World's End, the path with trees, and that's what everybody loves. And she paints with a palette knife. She's unique because a lot of artists just use paintbrushes, but she uses a palette knife or a few palette knives. She mixes the paint with the palette knife and she applies the paint onto her canvas or canvas board with the palette knife. So it creates little flat surfaces. So the texture of the painting is very different from the others. And it just adds, I think, a different dimension with the different layers of paint. If you'd like to meet her, she's right here.
We can grab her.
Yeah?
I will.
We're talking about your painting, about your style, and you use palette knives.
I use pretty much all palette knife, so I can get these really clean colors, and then a little bit of dry brush, but I don't even know where it is in here. Maybe in here, not much. So.
It's a really interesting spot. Is there any reason why you specifically
Why I
chose
picked that spot? Yeah, because it was windy as heck, and this is called the Valley. It's a road at the end of World's End. So it gave me a nice vista of the road going over, but the wind wasn't knocking me over, so that's why I chose that. And I love roads. World's End's great for that. I mean, there's all roads and paths places. So. See those 3 trees back there? I almost called it Trinity of Trees because there's 3 of them that I kept looking towards. But no, there's so many beautiful spots in there, and I've learned a lot from local artists and different instructors.
Okay, I remember you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Kate.
Nice! Tonight we have an opening of a new exhibit. It's exhibit of paintings that artists created within this last 1 week, and they were all in World's End. So all of these paintings capture different scenery in World's End.
One major thing is when I initiated this gallery 16 years ago, the premise was that this was going to be a gallery where plein air artists would be able to show. Plein air artists paint on site, on the scene, in wet paint, you know, wet and wet, and it's a very distinct type of painting rather than studio painting that is a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more measured, a little bit more of everything because you have a lot more time to consider it, where when you're on site painting outdoors, you have to respond to what you're looking at within a couple of hours.
First of all, we had to invite artists. We had to ask them, would you like to be part of it? Would you like to go out there and paint? And because we got a good response, many artists were interested. Then we started talking about details like framing and sizes of the paintings. And we also, of course, discussed this event with the trustees of reservations because a big chunk of the proceeds is going to the trustees to benefit World's End and the Weir River Farm. So we were in touch with them. They knew about this and they actually allowed artists to drive in World's End. Let's talk about your art. Well, this painting here is by T.A. Sharon, and he's from Attleboro here in Massachusetts. Very nationally known, acclaimed artist, winning a lot of awards. And we are always happy that he finds time for us. And so he went out to World's End on, again, a very cloudy, windy day. And he didn't have to walk far. He set up his easel right at the entrance and painted probably all day, I don't know. And look at the colors again, cloudy, windy day, and it's a happy painting. How did he do it? But he painted it right on the location, and I admire that. I don't have that experience. I like that he captured everything about World's End. The path, the trees, the water, the bridge, and I love the color. I love the color. But I think that you can wonder about where does the path go and the bridge. It's a little, I'm looking for words, poetic.
No, I mean, I think she explained it all. Anyways, I love World's End because it's such a variety of landscape in a short package. I mean, you have, on one end you can have some cliffs, another end you would have rolling hills and pastures, fields, and then you have the water views from World's End of the city, of the Harbor Islands. It's just a really great place to paint. And, you know, I think this cause to help with their land is a great cause, and I really commend South Street Gallery for putting this together with the World's End. But anything else, it's different than a studio piece, which I would do like portraiture or something like that. This is plein air, so you. That day was cloudy, so I could take a little bit more time. I wasn't chasing the light or the sunlight, shadows and things like that. So I was able to, you know, slow things down a little bit and concentrate on a little bit more detail. Other than that, you sometimes are racing. It's a different kind of paint form. I mean, you really have to get something down quickly. And with one brush stroke, you try to create the illusion of many brush strokes. And that's what makes plein air painting special. From a distance that looks really awesome, you get up there and you start seeing all these wonderful brush strokes and directions. It's sort of like the way a person is each one is individual, just like everybody's signature is individual. So you kind of can enjoy, and not just the whole painting itself, but you can get closer to it and enjoy how they applied, you know, the brush strokes, what color choices they used.
I not only do plein air work, but I do studio work also, and a combination of plein air and studio to create works that I do. My subject ranges from portraits to landscapes, seascapes, to equine work. I've been in dance studios for over 35 years. I just love doing a variety of subjects and techniques. So I can go real tight, I can go loose, or a combination of both. Well, I attribute one I created this week, and also a second piece that I did about 3 years ago at World's End that was done really quick. So a real quick plein air piece. I painted this with a friend of mine who has since passed away, but it was a beautiful spot. He enjoyed his time there painting, and I enjoyed his company and the scenery that I painted.
I'll just follow you.
Which painting do you like better? And we'll talk in front of it.
I like them. I don't know. You decide. I think this is better lit.
It's
and
different.
It's different than that one. So.
But we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it because he's not here.
Well, we do the
It's up to you. It's up to you. Okay.
This one has a meaning.
Oh, I like it. And let me make it straight. Okay. So this painting here is painted by Diane Panarelli Miller. She lives in Abington, and she's very well known here on the South Shore. She's an amazing art teacher, but she paints full-time every day, and has won a lot of awards again, and we're happy that she's part of our gallery. She's always part of group shows. So she went out to World's End again on these windy days, and I saw a picture of her. She was bundled up like it was November and it was September, but she did it. She painted 2 paintings on location. They are quite big, I would say. When you set up the easel on location, that size, I think that's hard. When it's windy too. And I like that she put that little figure on that path because it gives you a wonderful scale of how big the place is. And everybody knows this path. I like that. Everybody that knows World's End knows these 2 hills and the harbor, and she captured it. This is perfect.
Well, one of the reasons that I painted here was when I was about 20 years old, I used to come here all the time without a dog, and I walked it almost every day, and I would sit there and think about what my life would become. So it was kind of interesting to go back there and reflect on how things have changed and how things have turned out, and then to be able to paint it. And it was thrilling. It was thrilling, and it was kind of spiritual. And I'm very happy about the way that I've turned out with my art. It's always good to have a name that's interesting for your paintings. And The World's End, A Wonderful World, I was thinking of the song. And the other painting that I did is Fields of Gold, which is also a song. So I was trying to be a little lyrical, I guess, with my. That's good. I mean, I used to go in there and think of the trees as people. And I would try to think of a character for each of the trees, like what would this person be like if this tree would be like if they were a person. So I have a really big connection with the World's End, and I hadn't been in there for a long time, so it was really nice to revisit and feel all those feelings come back to me now as an adult. We were allowed to take our cars in, and on this day the person at the gate wasn't aware of that, so I had to take all of my gear, which is a lot of stuff, and trudge it up the hill, dragging it all behind me after I had already taught a class. So by the time that I got to my spot, I was already exhausted. And then I sat in a place that was pretty much blocking the wind, but it was raining on me. And when I started the painting, I had this beautiful masterpiece in my head, and then when I painted it, it just didn't turn out that way. So I took it home, I took a couple trees out, I reworked it a little bit, and then now I'm really happy with it. But when I finished it there, I thought it was a clunker, so I was happy that it ended up turning out okay. Because it's a plein air event, we all hope for the sunny days, but I was kind of happy that it was raining, because sometimes when you have a rainy day, you get a little bit more emotional quality to your work, and you get a little more atmosphere. Because in this part of the country, everything is so crystal clear, that it's really hard to get that kind of moody atmosphere. So I was kind of happy that it was a little rainy for this show. This is one of mine from the North River. That's one over there from a show that we had, a small picture show. And that was part of a series that each sold separately of sand dunes. Kate is somebody that I've painted a number of times. This might be the 5th time I've painted her, and it was the first time that I painted her with bangs. So I try to keep updating them as the years go by. I think that, until you walk into this gallery, you only think it's a frame shop, but The owner, Jack Hobbs, is an artist himself, and he tries to bring in the top caliber of artists, whether they show here once so that they become gallery artists.
I love to go to World's End because in one geographic area you can have ocean venues, you can have rock venues, tree venues, field. There are structures you can paint. There's a real variety. For such a small place, there's a real variety of subject matter that you can put into a painting. And I end up going to World's End maybe once a week to harvest a painting. But it is a very unique place. And the other thing about World's End is it's a private place. So you can set up and work for a couple hours without substantially being disturbed, and you can really concentrate on what you're trying to do. I found that it's been a real outlet for not only the artist community, but for people to come to our openings. And we have our openings normally on a Friday night from 6 to 9. So I find that people either go out to dinner and come here for an opening, or come to the opening and then go out to dinner. So it kind of fills a Friday night void for many people. And it also gives an element of an ongoing cultural aspect to the square, which is healthy, I think, for a town to have.
We always have some light hors d'oeuvres, the usual cheese crackers and wine, and little snack food, and people enjoy that. And we have some music playing, of course, and a fun atmosphere.
Because the quality of the show is so high, it's really a good showcase for this gallery to show the quality of work and artists that they show here. I think that people need to get more involved in the arts, and there is such a high caliber of artists around here that shows like this are necessary to kind of bring the community and get them involved.
We have a website that we post everything on, and then before every event we get into the Hingham Journal, the Patriot Ledger, and we have mailers that we send out. So there's as much notification as we can possibly come up with, and if you have any other ideas, let me know. So it's very unique. There are not a lot of galleries like this around. I think you might have to go to the North Shore to some of the nonprofit art associations to see a similar kind of grouping of artists, but this is a very unique gallery.
People can just chit-chat and meet new friends and have a glass of wine. Well, thank you for coming. I hope you had a great time, and we hope to see you again. Ciao!
Thank you.